So I pulled off the rear pipe, and you can see it was not in very deep into the head or cylinder right there. I also put my bolts back where they came from because this motor is going to be tied up for a year. And a year from now, I've got to remember how to put this back together. Of course, I keep the clamp on the pipe, so when I put that in my box, I'll know where that goes. Plus, it's neatly marked by grease and burnt oil. So, those are great markers, and you can see why you don't keep things on a flathead chrome, because it's pointless. Alright, I've got the front and rear pipes off. Well, those are some magnificent beauties, aren't they? Now I can probably get access down to this connection here and disconnect that. We'll be pretty much done with our oil. I'll probably clip this wire for the ignition, and we'll make our way to the other side and see what we take off next. Certainly the throttle cable and all that. Alright, we're over at the primary side, and I'm going to start with the clutch and clutch basket. I'm going to have to take off this pulley. But the thing with this is you got all these springs. You take off every one of these bolts, it goes spring, spoing, spoing. So I've created this very special tool right here. Yeah, these two washers, they'll go over that, holding that whole piece together and saving me some reassembly later. Alright, you can see my special tools in place. Now we'll start removing some of those other retaining nuts. Now here's something I've always found handy, is these magnetic bowls. As you can see, I've been storing all kind of stuff in it, but I've cleared a spot to be able to keep my retaining nuts in so I don't get them mixed up with other ones. Alright, I've taken all the clutches out. They're kind of funky, but you don't need a lot of crazy cool stuff with a flathead. This looks pretty nasty in here, but easy cleanup. And next we'll move on to this giant size nut and pull the primary off, and then we'll get this cover and we'll see what else we have access to. The big question will be whether this whole motor will tilt out with the air filter and everything on, or whether I'll take it off. I'll probably take it off, and I think then the linker will clear it. We'll find out. Some folks have been asking me about this motor seizing up and the shop that built it, blah, blah, blah. I've owned this bike twice in, let's see, 40 years, 35 years. And the first guy ran it too lean and blew out a piston. I rode it and it seized up. I had it rebuilt, it seized up. I worked on a little bit more myself, it seized up again. So I think that when the mechanic gets into the heart of this, we may find that we've got some clogged oil lines, oil pump. The shop in Scranton, American Cycle Fab, actually creates 6 new ways for the oil to travel through the motor. So I think the motor itself has been problematic. The shop that rebuilt this is the same shop that rebuilt Debbie's chopper motor, 93 cubic inch shovel head. I'll tell you what, that thing runs mint. It doesn't leak a drop. It's a beautiful, beautiful motor. It's 93 inches. And so I'm not going to get into whether the shop did this or the shop did that. I think this motor is going to need the kind of attention that it's about to get. Of course, it'll be apart for years, so yay me.